Happy Monday to everybody. I hope you're doing well. This isn't the way that I intended for this past week to go. Have you ever said that? One thing that I do not like to be is sick. And as I record this, I'm still trying to fight and get through a virus. Praise God that it's getting better, and look forward to getting back to a normal day. But it kind of reminded me of something that Jesus said in John chapter 11. It's dealing with his friend Lazarus. He told the disciples that this sickness is not unto death, but it's for the glory of God. Have you ever thought that sickness could actually glorify God? I mean, how is that possible, right? Well, I think there's a few ways. The first thing is that it reminds us that, you know what, we're not in charge. We've taken all the precautions necessary, and while this isn't COVID-19 that I'm dealing with or my family's dealing with, it is some virus. It's just something that was kind of out in the air and happened to get into a few of us. And so, it's great to have plans, and I had a lot of plans for this week, but all of a sudden, when it hit me like a freight train on Monday, all my plans just kind of went by the wayside, and I had to do something a little bit different. But just because my plans changed doesn't mean that God's plans for me changed. The way God is glorified in sickness is it reminds us of our need for Him. Jesus is our ultimate healer, not only physically, but of course spiritually. And so it's good that when we start to feel run down or we're sick, that it just reminds us of our need to cry out for Jesus, not just to feel better, but just to cry out to Him for everything that we need. But here's the last way that God can be glorified in sickness. It reminds us that we live in a fallen, frail world. Sickness reminds us of sin, as sickness and ultimately death are a consequence of sin back in Genesis. And so when we're sick, instead of being frustrated, it can be used to remind us to praise God that Jesus went to that cross. He paid that price. He rose from the dead so that He could cure this ultimate sickness of all mankind, that sin that separates us from God. So let God be glorified, whether you feel good or whether you're sick, by reminding us that we're not in charge, that we all need Him, that He is our ultimate healer, and God can be glorified, not just in healing us physically, but more importantly, healing us spiritually. I hope you have a great week. See you next Monday.